Blood, Sweat and Gears is more than cars and more than drivers. It's about the best car driver package in this country. We have Sash and his Falcon XY GT, Sean with his Brock Commodore, Brendan's supercharged Monaro, George and his fully blown FPV F6 Typhoon, Shane with the Nissan 180SX, our New Zealand competitor Zarrell bringing his Subaru Impreza WRX, Murray and his 66 Chevy Corvette, and finally Shane with the heavily modified Ford Laser SR2. And then there's our judges, Samantha Stevens and Ian Luff, making up the Blood, Sweat and Gears team. Challenges are scored from 100 points for first place down to 20 for 8th position. Competitors who fail to complete a challenge receive 0 points. It's not actually the winner of the most challenges that will take out the competition, it's about consistency. Finishing with some points is more important than blowing up and getting none. Behind me are two experts in show and shine, and they'll be here giving advice to each of our competitors as they spend time washing, polishing and detailing each of their cars in hope that they can take out the show and shine of Blood, Sweat and Gears. We've brought in a couple of show and shine experts to help our competitors with the finer details of this challenge. Firstly, we have Mal Parkinson with his original 96 Holden Commodore HSV GTSR. This is one of the best original show cars in the country, and Mal has literally won hundreds of awards. Then we have Con Cavella and his 73 Ford Falcon XA GT. This is one of the best examples of a fully modified Aussie muscle show car ever produced. For this year's Show and Shine Challenge, we've enlisted the help of two specialist judges. Firstly, Frank Puterich Jr. from Frank's Paint and Panel, one of Australia's multi-award winning custom painting and restoration experts. And secondly, Dermot McConaughey, Regional Manager of Turtle Wax Asia Pacific. There's nothing these guys don't know about show and shine competitions.
It's going to be a pretty unique show and shine we've got here today. You wouldn't normally get this mix of cars. Old, new, the various body styles. It's going to be quite a mix-up. The cars are going to be judged on a variety of aspects. Paint, bodywork, the engine bay, interior, undercarriage, engineering, wheels, tyres, overall presentation and style.
Just after all the competitors arrived, we sent Dermot down to the Blood, Sweat and Gears garage for a surprise show and shine inspection to check out the cars in their normal condition. This also counts towards their final scores.
Having a chat to Darryl today about his car. It's a fantastic looking car, but gee, I think it's had a bit of hard work out there. He can get this thing to shine, but it's going to be a bit of hard work for him for the show and shine. Just look at this car. This paint job, perfect. Man, fiberglass bonnet. Wow, check this out. Now that's going to be hard to beat, whatever you look at. I'm really looking forward to seeing this thing on the track as well, not only just with the paint job. This is a wonderful looking car. It's a magnificent paint job. It's really actually hard to spot any imperfection on George's car. Sash takes it out and he drives it well. But you know, Sash, 17 years old, I think he said the paint job to me today. Wonderful looking car. Is he going to have enough to be able to really get over the top with the show and shine? We'll see. But it's a good looking car. Nose to tail, this thing is immaculate. It really is. Just metal shining, paint is just popping. Interior, beautiful. This guy's really got a package here. He's going to be hard to beat. This thing is just set up to motor. This thing is going to fly. Can he get it to really shine and to really bling? He knows he's got a bit of work to do on it, but I think this one's going to be more on the track car than a show and shine car. What a fantastic car. I think this car is just a classic example of the owner. The owner just has a super passion about this car, and you can actually see it in fantastic looking car. And he's going to be one of the threats at show and shine time for sure. It is really hard to fault the paintwork on this car. Reflection from the lights coming down, I can see myself in it. It's just a magnificent looking vehicle. There's just some of the small bits that some of these guys just miss out on, they need to work on. They know they need to work on it. So we've got a few more weeks for that to all happen. So let's see if they can get there.
After the break, we'll take you into the world of one of our competitors and see what makes them so passionate about their ride.
Shane.
G'day.
Scott McGregor, Blood, Sweat and Gears. How are you? You must be Christine.
I am.
How are you doing?
Well, thank you.
What are we looking at?
Okay, we've got a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged monster.
Custom catch cans, radiator overflow over here.
We actually got the wheels designed by ROH here in Adelaide, cut all the guards and manufactured the guards front and rear around the wheels. Blinging up the car, probably my forte. Got a little install here, yeah. Got to have the tunes when you're driving.
Good.
No doubt. I built the car over 7 odd years and done a lot of things to it and had a direction that I was after. When this opportunity came along, I just think this was what I was building the car for in the long run. Car's ready, tuned, set up. Obviously the dyno's probably where we're going to have the last numbers because of V8s and the massive power they've got. We're just going to work on the things that we think the areas that we can go well on.
Each competitor is now given 2 minutes with our specialist judges to highlight the individual features on their car and explain why it's so special.
Right, Shane. Here we go. Standard seats, front and rear. Yep. Been cut out, bolstered up with more foam holder. Billet aluminium ring, which we've done here. It's out of a solid bit of aluminium. Right. My upbringing in cars was with EHs and HR Holdens. When I started doing this, it was sort of, not a lot of people did it, so sort of got out of hand a little bit.
Chrome dash, I'll pull the dash apart to chrome that, and the free gauge feature. It just brings a nice chrome, black, dark, exotic look to the car.
Anything that can be painted has been painted. Anything that can be retrimmed has been retrimmed. So there's nothing more you can really do to this car.
It's all about horsepower, not much glitz and glamour under there, just the raw horsepower sort of department there.
Yeah, you bet.
Hydraulic cam, so it's a low maintenance deal. Factory trim, white, the original basket weave, original steering wheel, dash fascia. Everything's basically as per factory. In recent times I haven't really mucked around with it too much, but it still holds up all right, it still looks good.
It's a replica of the World Rally car. So in doing so, we wanted to make sure we got it exactly right. So as you can see, the car has 2 doors. It actually started off life as a 1995 4-door Subaru RA.
Yep.
Yes, the ethos of this car is that it has to be fit for racing.
Sure.
Because it bears the name Possum Board.
Sure.
So we've got the full roll cage, full 5-point harnesses, and a fire extinguisher inside. Nothing else. I think we've presented something quite clean, and it's presented as a race car, and hopefully the judges will look at it in that light.
All right, Shane, we're here to look at your car. Tell us a little bit about it.
All right, we have 2 different types of film there. We actually have a blue tint with a holographic behind it to actually give the effect, as you can see on the windows.
Yeah, I love it.
That's actually a factory wing with a second factory wing that we've actually moulded and turned into one.
It's all one piece.
Yes.
Very nice.
You got the window tint, you've got the false flooring, lowered it, bigger mags, and the body kit. Yeah, she's custom.
It's beautiful. Yeah, look, I do. It's a beautiful car, and we really do. You know, tell us about it.
Okay, well, basically we started with a 66 Corvette Standard, dispensed of the flat bonnet, and I went to a 67 Stinger bonnet. With this car, it was designed basically to drive on the road and to enjoy.
The main thing about this car is we've got the 7-litre conversion, so it's a 7-litre engine, it's not a stroker, hence the license plate 7 in Monaro. So we have a Harrop race sump or a dry sump out the back, and once again that's a feature for the racetrack. I've always had nice cars, but this is the first car I've actually spent money on modifying. I've concentrated on the mechanicals, getting all the engineering done, then I'm going to start blinging it up.
Mr. HDT, tell us about yours.
Basically, every seam in the car's been welded and smooth. There's not one seam anywhere, inside the doors, underneath. Makes horsepower, but still practical, easy to clean. Alpine, all the seams gone in the boot seams. Tough muscle cars, my background. I enhance them, making it tough, keeping the factory flavour, but having the engine and the horsepower that they should have had back in their day.
The competitors have had their chance with our judges to showcase their car. The guys are now given 2 hours to get their cars competition ready before the final judging.
This one will not get cleaned for 6 months after this. I am a girl.
Thank God we only got half an hour left of this fucking music. by my side.
I will not do this at home, trust me.
Guys, time's up. Cloth's down. Products away. Well done, buddy. As the competitors head out to the green room, it's time for our judges to go over each of the cars and work out the final scores. After the break, we'll see how the cars perform under the Show and Shine microscope.
Pure SX. It is a show car. From the bodywork and panels to the engine bay, right through the interior of this machine, it's immaculate.
He's got a lot of work going on under here, and the other thing is too, he's took the carbon fibre theme from the interior and the exterior into the engine bay.
I think he's got some custom work down here, he's telling us.
Yeah, he's got a lot. There's a lot of custom bodywork in this car, and it's very subtly done, some of it, and some of it's very out there. Like I said, like the engine, the bonnet scoop on the bonnet.
The interior is magnificent. He's got that carbon fibre coming from what you're saying, the engine bay, and there's plenty of it in here.
Yeah, and like I said, with obviously concealed a lot of the gadgetry in the glove box, all the sort of the gadgets that to run this high-tech car, especially the engine. And there's a lot of kept the carbon effect, the dash, even the hood lining gone to the extent to make a fake, like a dry carbon effect hood lining flush fit, with all the LEDs everywhere.
It's the little details that learn Shane big points here. The individual lights that flow right through the interior roof and the custom embroidered headrests. We'll see him right up there. This late model FPV is a great package. The factory paint job shows an amazing depth of gloss that really stands out, and it's just about the only standard thing left on this car. George and his team have done a great job modifying this car, both in the mechanical sense and also the way it looks.
This, to me, reminds me of something that you would expect Ford to have on, say, their stand at the motor show. Unless you had a standard car next to it, you probably wouldn't really appreciate all the things that he's done. All these little plastic brackets on the late model cars, they're like a really porous plastic. They're really hard to do anything with.
Yep.
And he's put the time into chrome and polish all these little hard-to-get-to areas.
The inside package of this car is what it's all about.
It's probably one of the best stitchings on seats I've seen in a long time. All the stitchings look nice and straight, and considering they've had to hand make and rebolster those seats, they've done an exceptional job.
The low-profile tyres and massive chrome wheels certainly look the goods on this car. However, there appears that there could be an issue with the fit of the tyre on the rim. It's the full custom interior where this car really stands out. I expect George to be at the pointy end of the group. Sash's car is a fantastic representation of a classic GT Falcon.
It's in remarkable condition for its age, but the engine definitely, it's all purpose. Everything that he's done here, all the leads, it's all accessible, able to be well maintained.
Yeah, but it's all about the power, isn't it? I think it's all about what it represents, which it represents the history, represents the Alan Moffat history. Car paintwork, I think Sash said it's about 17 years old, and I think even for 17 years old, the thing looks tremendous.
Yeah, it's an acrylic as well, which is something you don't see now. All the modern paint technology is in 2-pack, and it hasn't moved around a lot for its age, and it's in remarkable condition.
Darrell's WRX doesn't look too bad from the exterior. Take a closer look. It's basically a rally car.
He's put a lot of effort into replicating the original car as it was seen and competed. The decals, like I said, they're all factory, which is, like I said, he's done an incredible job matching little things like that airbox that they ran on a rally-only type system, the front-mount intercooler. It also touches on the popularity of this sort of style car, which is coming up. We see in Australia a lot of historical touring cars popping up, and this is a fitting tribute.
His sticker art, it's all genuine just about.
Yeah, all genuine, and even to the extent of doing the two-door conversion, which is done well. There's no sink back where they've welded the rear door. The engine bay interior, the paintwork, race cars were never designed to be. They were basically painted this colour so you could see the leaks, the silver, so you could see things that happened that went wrong. In that regard, he's matched it perfectly.
From the first look, this car appears superb. The holographic windows, custom-built interior and sound system all provide an air of bling to this souped-up hatch, looking a million miles from a Ford Laser you could buy stock.
He's done the engine conversion, like he's gone from a naturally aspirated to a turbocharged, and he could have very easily put an SR20 or something like that into it.
Right.
He's stuck with the Ford engine and just remanufactured a lot of the components to turbocharge it. A lot of effort in that. To me, this sort of looks more like a street car, like they've designed it from the outside and interior. It looks very nice, but the engine bay, it does what it's got to do, but it's definitely the show and shine aspect of it it's lacking.
He's got some wild sort of tint here on the window.
Yeah, the tint's a novel idea. I've never, to be quite honest, never seen before, and it is every different. Something like these cars, it is hard to be different, and he's definitely done a very interesting and one-off type effect on that.
Yeah, that's a tremendous presentation.
Yeah, he's made use of the space really well. He's fit the speakers, the amp rack. We've got the smoke machine happening at the moment with the interior. And
yeah, that's a blast.
Yeah, all your edges, all your paint finishes. He's done a nice blend. Use of the blue neons. He's done a really good job.
The oldest car in the competition, this 66 Corvette, is something special. Murray's done a ton of modifications throughout this car, but the paint and bodywork remain in super slick and original condition.
This car is probably one of the most engineered cars in the field.
Yep.
It's take up the latest trend of pro touring, so it's literally take the old style body on top of the new car suspension. So the handle stops just like your normal everyday car. They've got the best example of that is the Crate Motor LS2. Latest motor found in the Corvette, uses all the factory pollution gear. He's done a great sort of job with the install. It looks like it should be there. Everything's tucked up. The exhaust goes through the frame rails. The section, so it goes through the frame rails, so it keeps everything up tucked underneath the car. So hit a bump or something like that, there's nothing low hanging down. And everything's finished with a 415 and chrome and powder coat underneath, so you pressure wash this car in 10, 15 years time, it'll look just as good as what it does now. He's got the latest Dakota digital dash. Instead of replaces the analogue, it's a lot more of a safer, modern type gauges, a lot more accurate than the analogue style.
Brendan's Monaro has been built for the racetrack, and it's pretty obvious. The yellow paintwork screams out at you, but that's about it. The tyres and wheels, well, they're average at best, and the interior is also very basic.
There's a lot of engine work that they've done in the car, obviously with the aftermarket block, the supercharger, basically the suspension and brake upgrades. It is every business. Like I said, they've done the bonnet scoop to clear the supercharger. They've put the aftermarket front V8 supercar style guards on, and the tubs front and rear. But apart from that, there's not really a lot that differentiates it from a standard.
Yeah, Brendan said to me, look, this car is probably not built for show and shine. He said this car is built for the track. This car's built for speed.
Yeah, and it's having said that, it's probably one of the nicest sort of track-orientated cars I've seen. So
yeah, it is.
Normally they're completely gutted interiors and the paint's a little bit how's it going. This one, being a factory yellow, it's in really good condition, and they said it's a very nice example.
Neat package. Well, Sean's HDT and Mr. HDT it is. This thing just is a mirror.
There's nothing that jumps out at you as out of place. And that's one of the biggest things that you can tell a successful car is, concept-wise, everything's, like I said, it's all blue, anodised lines, braided everywhere. There's no other lines other than what is the braided. Taking into account that these are original Brock-style interior, all these pieces, like I said, they're very hard to get. He's done an original style, which taking into account what he was trying to achieve with the car, it looks like a factory block from the outside. So obviously with the inside he wanted to carry on that effect. Everything's in good condition. These plastics are normally a little bit faded.
This is just beautiful back here. And sometimes just being able to get right to the rear of the car and finish it off, well, this does it for me.
Yeah, you see some of the cars, and I'm not trying to nitpick, but some of them, the boot area is definitely something that they haven't finished. This car, for example, even the boot lid, it's in the nice piece embossed with the Alpine.
Chrome.
All these all here, this factory is the quarter skins joined, there's all folds and stuff, and there's all spot welds, everything's smooth.
The interior's in original condition, and Sean just hasn't left out any details. We're going to have to look hard at this one to find any faults at all.
What do you think is the strongest feature of your car for this kind of competition for the show and shine?
Hopefully probably the install that I've done through the interior of the car, you know, the false flooring and the stereo components basically. And the other thing is probably the fresh paint.
A lot depends on what they want. If they're looking for originality and engineering and safety and stuff like that, I've got a good show. If they're looking for, chrome, bling, that sort of stuff, well, no, probably not.
Do you know what they're looking for?
Not really. We just cleaned it as best we can and went over it all as best we could.
Bit of a stress. We really pushed through, but I think we got the result that we're after and the look what we're after. So, yeah, it was pretty good.
Like a bit more time, but it's clean enough as it was, so we'll just see what happens.
It's time for Car Council, so let's find out our top two for the challenge. Time's up. With final judging complete, it's time to tally up the results and see who really shined in this challenge. Guys, show and shine. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me just say that from what you guys had in this room earlier today to what you've got now is just unbelievable. Our top two for the show and shine are Shane Suter and Sean Fardell.
Pretty hard out there. Pretty hard to get the cars up, and at the time we had to do it, and the competition's unbelievable. It's phenomenal seeing these cars like this all prettied up. I had to pull out all the stops, I really did. As I said, this competition is so tough. You've really got to do whatever you can to get those points.
Do you think you've got enough points?
I don't know, honestly don't know. It's a toss of a coin now.
The Big Blue Brock, a legendary car. You've done a great job. You've obviously done quite a few shows. How do you think you've gone?
Oh, I don't know. It's so hard in this event, like keeping them clean, looking after them and stuff. But Turtle Wax did a good job, and we've done what we had to work with, and hopefully it's enough. You know, we'll just see what happens.
And the winner of Show and Shine for Blood, Sweat and Gears is Sean Fardell. So there you have it. Sean's Rock Commodore takes out the Show and Shine over Shane's Nissan 180SX. After a poor start to the competition, Sean really needed that 100 points to get him back in contention.
Apart from the bragging rights, our competitors are battling it out for over $20,000 in prizes, consisting of a garage full of Turtle Wax products and accessories, including the new ice range to make sure their car is always looking its best. A heavy-duty 10-drawer, 508-piece metric and AF toolkit thanks to Sid Chrome. Pioneer's Rumble Pack, complete with in-car stereo DVD player, 4-channel amplifier, front and rear speakers, and 2 enclosed subwoofers. Samsung's ultimate home theatre with a 50-inch high-definition plasma screen and Blu-ray surround sound. And finally, a 12-month supply of Redline oils to make sure their car is always running smoothly.
Smoking is bad, unless you're cutting some sick doughies on the tarmac. Next Monday on Fox 8.
A race for pure horsepower.
8 rev heads battle it out to see who's packing the most grunt.
More nervous than doing the actual driving.
This kind of test will push their rods to the mechanical limit.
It sounds like the head.
It's from the top, man.
It's from the top.
And as the race to be the next king of cars amps up, who'll turn on who?
George, apparently you're cheating, mate.
Cheating?
All new Blood, Sweat and Gears next Monday at 10, exclusive to Fox 8.
I cleaned my car for 6 months after this.
Deliberately.
Deliberately.
In protest.
I'm of the point of whatever happens, happens.
You know you just took on his accent the second he came near you. It's like a disease, mate.
Oh, fully secular, mate.
They're very, very happy with each other there. Yeah, they sort of don't want me in the mix, you know.
Do you feel like a third wheel?
Yeah, I do feel a bit that way.
G'day, Toots.
Did you just call me Toot?
Yeah.
You know, from you it sounds wonderful. If anyone else, I would have slapped them.